What's up? You are live. They all start the same. That's really embarrassing. But don't binge. Whatever you don't binge watch. Don't binge watch that they all start with you are live. So what's this button do? Okay. How are we? How are we today? So I'm diving right in. These are our regularly scheduled trainings at 5 p.m. that we do every single week, most of the time. Sometimes we move it around a little bit, but in general, you can find us live on YouTube and on Facebook and in our group at 5 p.m. Actually, we only do it on the page during open enrollment. So otherwise, you need to join the group. So if you're on the page, join the group. There's lots of cool stuff that happens in the Facebook group. So if you're on the Hollywood Gatekeepers Facebook page, jump on into the Facebook group. Make sure I can see your comments. So today's our regularly scheduled thing. So we've been doing 3 o'clock, just punch in the arm sessions, we've been calling them. Well, hello there. It's us again. We go together. So Joy and I are here, present and accounted for. We know that sometimes, especially in the Facebook groups, not so much on Instagram, we are discovering, but people don't show up live, but they watch and it gets quite a reach afterwards. So I just start. So for those of you who are thinking about doing Facebook things, just do it and then just start and just learn to talk. Learn to talk whether someone's there or not. So because people watch it later. So today, although we do have people here, yay. And we're on YouTube too, so I can see that as well. So say hello in the chat if you're here. And today we are talking about time and about balancing your time. So we talked a little bit about time on Monday because right now, hey, Doug's here too, yippee. So right now enrollment is open into our screen reader program. We have many trainings that we do. Screen reader program is our paid training if you want to take it to the next level, and there's a few options within that even. So we have a lot of different options for you to choose from. So there are many paths you can choose to whatever works for you. Scruffles needs water. I can hear Scruffles like, Mom, hello. Anyway, totally distracted by my dog. I'm sorry. So during the Masterclass, we do these, we do them every day at 3 where we're answering questions. And so on Monday, we talked about time. Because some people say they just don't have time, right? They don't have time to learn how to do what it takes. You're in here and you're wanting to learn about it, but then you say you don't have time. So not you, but some people. So, hey, Scotland, hello again. Yes, hundreds and hundreds of thousands. So thousands actually sometimes, because we have 11,000 people in here. Good Lord. Okay, so I have to not think about that. So we've been answering questions, and time is a big one. So what we did on Monday is we just basically said, hey, track your time. Well, hello, Eclectic Interests. That's a cool name. So what we did was we said, let's track your time, like spend. So if you didn't do that exercise and you weren't here with us on Monday, then just think for a minute, like people say, I don't have time. I'm not, or on the flip side, they'll say, oh, I got this. I love that. That's one of my faves. She says sarcastically, I got it. And then you don't got it. So like that is like, you're committing your time when you don't really have your time. So when you track your time, the one thing that we wanted you to do is like look back on tracking your time and really looking as you go about how you felt about how you were spending that time. So we're talking about, people that say that they're committed to something. You want to know what you're actually committed to. Like what you might say, oh yeah, I'm a writer. I'm going to write my screenplay. Oh yeah. I'm this and I'm that. But whatever you did today or yesterday or the day before, that's what you're committed to. So even if you say that you're this over here, whatever you did today that's what you're committed to, whether it's things you want to do or not. So if you're running around and you're doing a bunch of things for other people, in my opinion, that's not a time issue, that's a boundary issue. So, and then we talked about money yesterday in a kind of a similar fashion. Like if you're spending money on things you don't want to spend it on, then that's more of a boundaries and priority issue than it is an actual money issue. So we can couch it in all kinds of different ways, kind of to keep ourselves stuck. And so when we want to get our screenplay done, or we want to do the course, or we want to do something, when we say that we don't have time, we just can't squeeze it in, it just means that there's things in your life that are more important to you. So you can say it's as important as you want, but however you spent your day, that's what you're committed to. So I don't really believe also in procrastination. I think procrastination just means you don't want to do it, or you would. So whether it's like you're procrastinating on the things that you can get away with procrastinating with, whether it's you're letting yourself down, which is usually, I find, more of the case, that people let themselves down with things that they want to do, then they'll let other people down in general. So if you're procrastinating and there's something that you need to get done, you simply don't want to do it. You have to, because you've determined that you either said you would, and we do a whole thing with Eisenhower's box, which is an amazing tool where you separate things out and discover what's really important. It's important or urgent, or it's not important, or it's not urgent, or it's urgent but not important, or it's important but not urgent. So, and it's a really great way to categorize things. So today we have another tool for you that we're going to use, just so you can kind of track your time a little bit. It's time, but it's also energy. So in this case, yes, this is the one on time. We are live on time. I just posted another one that's for tomorrow too. So I thought, as I was posting, I thought this might confuse people, but it's actually for tomorrow. So I have a handout for you, and let me find the link to it. Here we go. So it's hollywoodgatekeepers.net/Hollywood DIY. So cheesy. So Hollywood DIY. There it is in the chat. And then, but some of you, so there it is, because I can't, so maybe Doug, you could put it in the chat for me, because I can't write in the chat into the Facebook group. It's, as you can see, it's got the little YouTube thing on there. It's live on YouTube. So this is a tool, and then you just enter your name and email, and we do that. We have you enter your name and email, even though we have your name and email, because it helps us track the things that you guys like. So that's, that's the only reason that we're doing that, so that we can come up with more, whatever things are the most popular things that people get, that's what we create more of. So that helps just kind of give us some information about what to do next. So once you get to that, you will see, and I'm going to share my screen too, in case you don't want to do it that way. You can just follow along. So hold on one sec. It's so fancy. We're getting so fancy around here. I can share my screen. It's very lovely. So let me share. Share screen. You can see all my, here we go. Hold on. Oh. What it's called? Is it that one? Hold on a second. Okay. It is. Okay. Got it. Had to see what it was called. There we go. I think this is it. There it is. Can y'all see that? You can see it. Yay. This is so exciting. So there you have it. So here's the handout. But you can download it yourself. I know some of you keep actual notebooks, and you're very organized, and you've been putting handouts in one place, which is very smart, and I like that. And it's very reader type. So as a reader, you are given projects, and you often have to juggle a lot of different projects. So you have to learn how to balance your time. You're reading scripts from a lot of different people. You're telling someone how long it's going to take you to get a screenplay back to someone, or get the coverage back. Sometimes you're committing to an overnight. And so if you go and say to 10 people, oh yeah, I'll do an overnight for you, what have you just done? And not that I've ever done that. Not that I've ever spent the entire night reading. I've done that many times. So I have learned, and I still, this is something that's a universal struggle, I think, for all of us, but how do we manage our time? I'm actually in a time course with Brooke Castillo right now, which is awesome. So if you look at this, so how do I scroll? Maybe I have to do it. Can I scroll? Oh, maybe I do it on the page, huh? I got this. Do you have to be tech savvy to be a reader? Clearly not. Well, I want to make sure I can still see it. Oh, see, I figured it out. Okay, what musical is that from? Anyone? I figured it out. It's a total old school musical, anyway, that I've done many times. Okay, so it's time, and we want to figure out, how do you balance your life? So if you look on the second page here, and this is why you should download it and print it out because it'll be a lot easier for you. You'll see this wheel, right? Okay. So what I want you to look at is, so on this wheel, it's broken into sections, right? And so this is a way for us to kind of think about, how do we spend our time? How do we spend our, our energy? Not necessarily, and it can be both time and energy. You're spending this much time, but how much are we focused on each one of these categories, right? It's broken into 8 categories. So we're going to take a crayon. I'm not going to take a pen because crayons are way more fun, or a highlighter, or whatever you want. Some of us have done this before. We did this, but it's been a year, almost a year. Can you believe that? And I thought I wasn't going to do it because we've done it before. And then I thought, well, no, it's a year later. It'd be really interesting for any of you who have done this before with us to compare and see, have we made progress? So you can really see, because what you want is, you want as balanced of a life as you can get, right? So what we want you to do is look at this wheel, and then take your crayon, and from 1 to 5, 1 being the least amount of focus time that you spend in that area, you just color that little section in, right? So color your wheel in to, so like relationships, how much time are you focused, and how are they going? Basically just look at your life, and how are your relationships? How are they working out? How's your significant other relationship, or relationships in your life? But relationships and love is typically your significant other. So how's that going? How's that working out? So go ahead and fill that in to the degree between 1 to 5. Is it, are you just madly in love and everything is beautiful and you're building this life together and you're having the greatest time ever? Then you're a 5. If you're in the middle of something really horrible with someone, then you're a 1. So, and then moving on to your family, so like extended family, your children, relatives, siblings, that kind of thing. How are you going? How are those relationships going? And then look at your career, or if you're not in a career right now, if you're in school or something, your studies, how are you doing? How do you feel about your career? Is it in a place that you want it to be? 1 to 5. And then talk about your health and, your wealth and your finance. How is money going? How's that going for you? Are you struggling financially? Are you feeling pretty good financially? Where are you at financially? Do you feel pretty secure? Are you looking for things like, where are you at with this? And then move along to your health and fitness. Are you exercising? Do you feel pretty good? Are you pretty much on track with that? Do you feel pretty good about the amount of exercises that you're doing, or what you're on right now, what, in terms of how you're taking care of yourself? Are you doing self-care, doing massages? Are you taking, or whatever it might be that floats your boat? Are you taking care of yourself? 1 to 5, fill it in. This is such a fascinating exercise. I absolutely love it. And then look at your community and your service, and, are you spending time out in your community? And this would be considered that as well. This is your community. We spend a lot of time together, some of us. Joy's like, I know. So we spend a lot of time together in screen readers. For those of us that are really, in all of the programs and everything, we spend quite a bit of time together. So, how are you, that would count as your community, or out in your community as well. Are you going to things? Are you going to baseball games? Are you going to concerts? Are you, enjoying life and enjoying your community? And then, social and friends. So community is more about how you're, it's kind of more on a career level, or maybe volunteering or helping in your city. And then you've got those kind of go hand in hand with social life and friends, in terms of, are you going to these things with the people that you care about? Like, how are your friends doing? So you've got your family relationships, would be in-laws, siblings, that kind of thing. You've got your significant other, and then you have your social people, your friends, your family. I mean, not your family, your friends, and, maybe even your colleagues, depending on where that fits in to, if you have colleagues that kind of bridge the gap of friends. And then your spiritual self, like, how are you feeling? How do you feel connected? Do you take time to pray, meditate, whatever your beliefs are? And if you're, don't believe in God, or, that's not your thing, are you still, that doesn't mean that you're not spiritual. Are you taking that time to connect with whatever it is that brings you joy, love, peace, all of that? So exercise is the bane of my existence. So yeah, so this is a good way to analyze it, Shri, and keep your list, because we're going to dive into that screen readers tomorrow too. So, so this is just a really good exercise. So as you fill this in, right? So you're filling it in and filling it. I would love, love, love if you guys took pictures of it and posted it in the group. That would be so great, right? To see, be brave, like whatever. There's no judgment. There's not an ounce of judgment in any of this. There's no way that we can move forward, and there's no way that we can build on something if we're not willing to be honest and look at how things are going and look at how we're feeling about stuff. How are you going to improve anything? It's not like, if you see a toddler and they're trying to walk and they fall over, you don't go, "What's wrong with you? Get up, learn that thing." It's like that, but that's what we do to ourselves often. Like, oh God, come on, what is my problem? It's really, really like it really, we beat ourselves up, and that's one of my struggles for sure. And I see it in all of everyone. When we're doing our coaching, we see it everywhere where people are struggling with beating themselves up. And that's why I'm here, because in my opinion, you are spectacular and fantastic. And I don't have any judgment over, you could have all your things be ones, like at least it's even. We'll find ways to figure out how, this is just clears it out for you. So you sort of know what's lacking in your life, because ideally you want this wheel to roll. So if you're a 1 and then you're a 5 and then you're a 2, and then you're having a pretty bumpy ride. It's like, if the things aren't even, you'd like to, then like, what do you need to balance, and what do you need to maybe pull back from, and where can you massage it and kind of spend a little more time over here and spend a little more time over there and take away a little bit of time from this thing and that kind of thing, so you can get this balance. Does bickering count as relationship time? I think, well, it depends. Sometimes bickering is a way to get to some things in a relationship. I think I think dates with the mate, but more so, it kind of depends on your relationship, whatever it is. Some people really need that date night thing. Some people, I know couples that work together, so they need breaks and they need to make sure that they have time with each other and it's not all about work. But it's like finding that balance between, the bickering times, which you often have in marriages, and the times where you're really connected. So it's like making sure that time is balanced. If you're bickering all the time, then something's got to give. You need to put some attention there maybe, or figure that out. If that's your way of communicating and there's a kind of a love language behind it, Love Language is another great book, by the way, then that's, a different thing. So it's like really kind of understanding. So, I'm so glad that this is super helpful. It really does, right? I just love this exercise because it's so tangible, and we are all about the tangible. Even though I talk so much constantly, right? I am constantly talking about the woo, or however you want to put it, the mindset and the belief, and you believe it, you'll see it when you believe it. It's not that, that I'll see it. How's it go? Not what most people, I can't even say it the way most people say it. I'll believe it when I see it. No, it's that if you believe it, then you'll start seeing it. I really feel like the cart's before the horse in so many things in our culture. And if we can start flipping that on its head without judgment, again, going back to the model, Brooke Castillo's model that we talk about all the time, that this is all neutral. Every one of these little chinks in your wheel is a neutral spoke. It's no judgment. It's like, okay, this is just information. And it's the same is true when you talk about money. When you look at money and you look in your bank account, if you look in your bank account and it's a negative number, you're going to, and you put all this feeling to it. No, it's just telling you, okay, there's a negative number here, just like there's a negative. So that would be a low number on your wheel. Okay, so we need to focus some energy there and kind of figure out, what do we need to do? It's all solvable. It's all fixable. It's all just a matter of understanding and not judging yourself and figuring out, not what can I afford, but what can I create, right? Figuring out ways that you can get yourself out of any financial hardships by creating something or doing something different. And I really, what is relationship, personal subtext between couples? So true. Yeah. So really believe first, see second. And I talk a lot about the woo-woo belief stuff, but I also feel like things like this tool, the model, those are tangible tools. And so I'm going to just run through the model, remind you of the model. The model is Brooke Castillo has come up with this model from the Life Coach School. I'm in that program, and life-changing program. She talks about how all circumstances are neutral. All spokes are neutral. It's only when we start thinking about them that they change. So we start thinking, oh, I need to exercise more. Oh, because I suck. We start putting these thoughts on them, or, oh, I'm actually doing really well. So, and like I have been doing really well until the Girl Scout came to the door. So I'm taking the Girl Scout cookies. I didn't buy them. I'm taking them out of the house and I'm going to go donate them tomorrow. So it's like, those are the thoughts, and whatever. Like, you can have these thoughts, but then it's very easy to go down this path of panic or judgment and then that circumstance is no longer neutral. You just made it something else. And so then you're going to be feeling a certain way. You're going to be feeling angst. You're going to be feeling whatever. And then that might make you act a certain way. So if you're feeling upset and you're feeling angsty, you're going to snap at the person next to you. And then that's going to create a ripple effect of action. And then pretty soon that action is going to escalate into a new action. And there you just created a nice little mess for yourself. So this is how the model works. Is like she's saying that if you have a thought, that's where the key is. You can stop yourself. So you can have a thought and be like, oh, and instead of you have the initial thought of whatever negative thought you have, and you can go, okay, that's my thought. We're going to go a different direction with this. Because if you switch gears and you think, oh, I have a negative number in my bank account, that means let's see, where else can I create something, or where's some creative thing that you're all creative if you're in this group, first of all. So it's like, where can I look to see an opportunity maybe that I haven't noticed before? And so you can kind of be more creative about it and less angsty about it, more math, less drama. And then you can figure out, okay, how can I solve this gap that I have here, as opposed to it being this sort of judgment that you're whatever because of it. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. So then that thought, then if you can create a thought that's more positive, it's going to make you feel better. And when you feel better, you take better action. You don't snap at the person next to you. You say things like, hey, can I help you with that? You like you're just a better human. You're able to stay in a better place with all of it. And so then that creates action. And when you create action from a place of feeling good, you get better results. That's such a no-brainer, right? If you just create action from a place of feeling good, you see the difference on how you show up to your life and how you show up in your life to everyone else. Like these are the ways. So look at your wheel, see where you're not showing up in a way that's coming from a place of positivity, or in, more math, less drama, right? I mean, that's such a good one. I absolutely love that. So it's like looking at this is all information. There's no judgment. It's all neutral. And then rather than picking a thought that has any judgment in it that's negative, pick the thought that's going to drive you forward to make your wheel as balanced as possible. So this is the lesson that we want to get across. These are the types of lessons that we do within the Screen Reader program all the time. Like, we are constantly doing deep lessons like this. So we wanted to give you sort of an example, right? Be nice. And who do you be nice to first? Yourself. Because if you can't be nice to yourself, then you won't be nice to anyone. And I see these new books that are coming out that are like, how to deal with people that are jerks in your life, and oh God, what was the one I saw? The Survival Guide to People Being Mean to You or something. And it's like, well, the only person who's really if that's your belief that people are being mean to you. And I actually have gone through phases of my life where I've been like, why are they so mean to me? And then I've been like, oh, wait a minute. If you're saying that about, especially if you say about more than one, if more than three, for sure, what's the common denominator there? But really, if you're saying that often, or saying something about people, then, and they have, oh, why, that person's mean, and that everybody's so mean. And then it's like, well, wait a minute, what's the common denominator between everybody? That would be you. So you're being mean to yourself, and you got one finger pointing this way and all these pointed back at yourself, right? So it's like really kind of understanding that and being like, oh, wait a minute. If I think that this person is taking advantage of me, and that person's taking advantage of me, and that person's taking advantage of me, maybe they're not taking advantage of me. Maybe I kind of suck at creating boundaries. It's not, I don't think people ever intentionally take advantage of each other. I really don't. But it's like learning to kind of see that balance and step up to it. So I think that's true no matter, any of these things that you're looking at. So I really think the title itself reveals the mindset, right? It really does. It really, really does. So I think this is such a great tool. I absolutely love this exercise. Love your neighbor as yourself. Absolutely. So you definitely need to learn to love yourself. And I really do feel like those people that come through, and you can see it, like you can see it in the shopping mall or in a line at the post office. You can see the people that are sitting there. And usually, can you just imagine when you hear people being rude to someone, what they must say to themselves if that's what's spewing out of their mouth in the moment? Like, I'd always just go, oh, you poor person. Like, dang, there's some serious like angst going on in there. So it really is, taking this exercise and really looking at where are you playing a role in your own demise, and where can you change your thought about it? Where can you apply both the model and this wheel? So we're just going to continue to give you as many tools. And I just thought of a great one today. I can't wait to share it. So I'm a constant learner. I'm in James Wedmore, who's amazing. If you want to talk about money mindset, and I'm actually taking his money mastery. It was just a small little course, and I'm taking that right now. It was small in terms of not very modules, but it's life-changing already. Like, my head's spinning. He's so good at helping you identify mindset, and he asks you questions. That was weird. Sorry. He asks you questions to get you really thinking, really in a good way. And he made me think of a way, and this is more about money, that I'm going to share. We're going to do a money mastery or a money mindset leap year. So I think it's a good way to do that. So we're going to have at 2:00, mark your calendars for 2:00 on the 29th. We're going to dive in, and we're going to do a good 2 hours of money mindset stuff. And I have some exercises. We're going to do them together, where we actually just sit quietly and do a few things together. We're going to try a new format. Usually I give you these handouts, I kind of walk through them, and then I leave. But this time it's going to be like, I'm going to turn the camera off for a minute, let you write a little bit, come back, and we're going to talk about it. And I want to try that style and see how it works with us. These are the kinds of things we want to continue to try. The money mindset thing will be open to anyone, whatever. It's not part of our course, but we do these kinds of things, and I want to continue to build our course in this way to give you as many tools as you possibly can, as many coaching tools as you can to coach yourself. Because as readers, it might not sound, you're like, what is this? What is going on? What does this have to do with reading? Everything. It has everything to do with it, because if you are a reader, you are the foundation of what's going on. You're about story. You're about reading that script, creating a coverage that really captures that script. You're about being able to find the good in those scripts. You're digging for whole golden gems within these scripts. And sometimes the scripts are messy, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they need a lot of work. And that writer and that producer, the person that asked you to take a look at it, they need you. They need you to be solid. They need your wheel to be turning, so that you're not coming from a place of, my life sucks and I'm really depressed today. Oh, here, let me read your script. Awesome. Wouldn't you want that person reading your script? Oh, I'm so angry. Let me take a look at this stupid script, right? We want to get you as solid as you possibly can be, because from there, people can climb and launch off your shoulders. And so that's what we're trying to create here. We're also we have big plans. Just ask Joy and Shree and Doug. We've got big plans. Like, we want to be this foundation where people are launching off of you. You are learning how to coach writers. You are learning how to be a coach and be that person who can coach a writer and get them to face that blank page. You can do it from that side. You can do it from a consulting side. So the difference is, coaches would be like helping the writer get those pages done and helping them, believe in themselves, and kind of doing the things that we're doing in here. And then you've got the consulting side, that is the analytical side of the screenplay. Fix this first act. Your arc here doesn't quite work. This character isn't necessary. Being able to pull scripts apart like that. You see how deep this can get? It really can get really, really deep. And we are really passionate about it. And so being able to show you these skills in life, and also being able to, so that you can show them to writers, but then they're creating these characters. And if you have characters where you understand all this stuff underneath, these characters are going to be so real, so authentic, so beautiful, so nasty, so awesome, that they're just going to ring true. And you will be the conduit for that, for a writer. So that's what it has to do about reading. So I am so excited about all the things we have cooking. We do have big plans. I love how Joy, Doug, Shree are like, yeah. That's all the comments I see is the team. Yeah, man, we get this going on. It's so great. We do have big plans. So those of you that are watching later, it's really funny. It's really funny. So there you have it. So yeah, Doug's got some health challenges right now. So he's got, although I would say that your wheel is significantly improved over the last month, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? I mean, none of us are like anymore. So that's good. It's like, you want your wheel to continue to grow and get bigger and better. And so that's what this is all about. So Whew, I didn't intend for that to be quite the tangent, but this is such a good tool, and I think it really does inspire it. It inspires you to look at all of this stuff. I know, right? I'm so excited. I really want to just spill everything that we've got going on, but you have to be patience is part of it. And it's interesting because I'm taking this training with James Wedmore that's about money mindset, and he has an exercise that you do every day, but he's recorded it all, right? So I've got it all. I could just whiz right through it, and I'm forcing myself, and it's been really hard to do it one day at a time and sit with it a little bit and not just race through it, because it's some huge mindset shifts that I'm seeing. Whenever I work with James Wedmore, I always have these huge shifts. And so I'm already seeing it. It's like, oh yeah, I need to sit with this and really dig into these. And so that I can really anything I learn, I just like turn around and immediately give it to you. And then next week I'm heading out, and I cannot wait for 4 days with Evan Pagan and Annie Lala, his wife. And I have to sleep before I go because it is like intense. And so this is the virtual coaching program. And I might go a day early too to do a mastermind there. So we are going to go next week. We will be doing some stuff probably live from, oh no, we won't be live till Thursday. So yeah, so lots going on to share with you. Yeah, and Doug needs to do a documentary about his foot because it's pretty spectacular. So there you have it. Do this exercise, figure it out, and then come back and please color it in. Let's see some crayon work. Let's see some crayon action. Color it in and then post it. I would love, love, love to see, your exploration with this. And if any of you did it last year, I'd love to see the contrast as to where you were last year and where you are this year, if you have it. I don't know. All right. So that's what we're doing this week. And we will be back again next week. Yes. And then Masterclass, we added one because so many people were like, I didn't get to come. So we added one on Saturday because we just can't get enough. So go to Hollywood Gatekeepers /Masterclass. I believe I do have that one here. I do. So Hollywood Gatekeepers Masterclass, and you can dive in and take the masterclass and learn, we really cover exactly what compensation, we really dive into a day in the life of a reader, all of the different career paths, and then every little detail around that. And tomorrow, actually, when we do the masterclass, we dive in and we do all of these different topics, and then we decided to expand on different ones as we go. So every day we've been doing Facebook Lives at 3 and on YouTube and on Instagram. We've been doing at 3 o'clock. We'll do that again tomorrow. And tomorrow, what we do is we take questions or we take topics from the masterclass and we expand on it a little bit more. So tomorrow we're going to talk about the different career paths that you can do once you understand what it is to be a reader, because there's many, many things that you can do with this. So we will cover that tomorrow at 3. Those are short, not quite as long. I try to do about half an hour for these 5 o'clock sessions. So it's not too long, but just to give you a little something to think about, something to go on to your day. I hope it inspires you to have the best evening possible. Please let us know how it goes. And we'll be back here tomorrow at 3 o'clock to talk about career paths. So depending on when you watch this, of course, if you're scrolling, you're seeing this another time, you have to kind of look at the dates or whatever, but come on back and we'll talk about career paths tomorrow at 3, and then join us for the masterclass on February 15th at noon. All right, you guys, we will see you mañana. You guys are the best. Inspire me every single day.